Hey everybody, Big Z, give me just a moment. Popped up a little fast there. Let me get my microphone on. This room that I have has a lot of echo in it. I apologize. So I'm going to try to talk in a little softer tone. So is that all right? So bear with me there. Hey everybody, I want to thank everybody for the comments on the last couple of videos that I put up. Had some really awesome discussions with some people. We're going to follow up tonight on more proof of the Star Force being what I'm presenting. What I'm presenting as the Star Force is actually being. But I'm going to share a video with you tonight. It's going to light your ass on fire. You're going to be so pissed off here in a few minutes. I mean, you're going to be, if you were like what I was, all I can tell you is it's a good thing that we weren't in the same room as with the person I'm going to show you here in a minute, because I don't think there are any of us that wouldn't. So anyway, you're going to enjoy this. So F2 World put his video up the other night. I want to give him a shout out and thanks, and I'll try to put the link in the description, but you'll see it here, so you can go to his channel. Please do and watch the entire video. It was an excellent 4-hour presentation, Book of Enoch, and what's going on down there, my butthole buddies down there at NASA. So with that, we're going to go right into his video, and I'm going to pop in and out, and then I'm going to show you. This is going to be some shit tonight, everybody. Just wait. Okay, so let me move myself over here, and let's watch the video. And so here we go. Is that not ridiculous looking? You ever seen anything so damn fake? Are you kidding me?
And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb.
Liftoff of the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket, launching Dragon to the International Space Station.
And he spake as a dragon. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
And stage 1 entry burn is underway. The burn of about 10 seconds.
So I'm going to interject here for just a moment. I want to share something with you. Something that you know that my whole start out in this whole thing, in truth, was with my discovery with these guys down here at NASA. I live up in Daytona Beach. I'm 72 nautical miles north of the launch pads down there. When I was a young guy growing up in my early 20s, I spent a couple years as a boat captain, commercial fishing captain, and we would take charters out for some of the launches. I was born in '64. It's 2000, whatever year we are. I've seen almost every launch that's left that place. Every space shuttle, pretty much everything since the day I was born, I've seen it. I grew up on the ocean. We watch them. They come straight up. They come right over our heads. By the time they get up to us, we're 70 miles north. They're completely horizontal. And we're watching it fly by horizontal. We watch the 2 engines fall off, and then we watch it start going down and descending. So years ago, I made a comment on this, and boy, did they come after me. If maybe one day I'll shoot a video and tell you what all they did, the personal visits I got, the knocks on my door at strange hours, the shit that I went through. They decimate. It's bad. It's really bad what they did to me. But that started me off in this whole thing. So I don't know why it is. I'll share this with you too. Those of you who know my testimony, 2002, broke my neck surfing, died, drowned on the ocean floor. I'm deader than dead. Snapped my C1 and my C4 and my C6. C1 is the hangman's fracture that no one lives through, but I did. And I know everyone has their life after death experiences, and they can be, oh, I went to heaven and it was beautiful music and angels were playing harps and I was floating through the clouds and I saw my grandpappy and my grandmammy and my little dog Skippy, and it was so beautiful and all peaceful and flowers and blah, blah, blah. I didn't see any of that stuff. My stuff was Enoch level. Met by an angel who basically said, God just backhanded your ass off your board because of your attitude and that one-sided conversation you were having with him, and this is your wake-up call. You better get your act together, son, because you're in deep trouble. That was my visit. I was already Christian, already received salvation, but I hadn't been in a place I should not have been in. When I first gave my life to Christ at age 22, I think it was, I don't know why I did this. And the funny thing, the irony about this, if I've listened to other people say the same thing, that I said these exact words. I don't know why. I said, I do not want an easy life. I want to know why men do what they do. Because I grew up in a home of divorce, and it was horrible for me, because I love my family. And divorce is something that is probably the word I hate more than any word on earth. But I want to know why men did what they did. And I said that prayer more than once. I don't want an easy life. I want to know why. And God let me live a life from that point on. He showed me his glory. He showed me all the wonderful things, allowed me to be married, allowed me to raise a little daughter, a stepdaughter from age 5 up. I could not be a more proud dad. And I got to experience all those things, but I knew a time was coming that my wife was like my placeholder that was holding me in place into a time where it's like, okay, you got to go take care of something now. I have an assignment for you. But before I send you on this assignment, you got to go through some basic training. And so we're going to take and put you in basic training and separate you from your wife. This is heavy shit, guys. I'm going to share some heavy shit with you right now, okay? This isn't just some, this is the real shit, okay? So I knew I was being separated. God told me I have her in a place. She's safe. She's not going to be there forever. So you better take care of your assignment, or that's not going to be there if you don't. And one of the things they do, I've learned from working with a lot of special forces guys, Navy SEALs, and Army Ranger guys, is there's something called Pathfinder School. In Pathfinders, what they will do, it's a little different now, but in the previous years, they would take you and drop you off in the middle of where it was, a wooded area, and you would have 42 or 48 or 72 hours to make it back. You were given a compass and a couple things, but you were dropped off in the woods with no support. There's nothing. There's a chance, and some guys died. They didn't make it. Hypothermia, snake bites, all kinds of things. But over the years, there are men who did not make it out. It's called Pathfinder School. You have to find your way back. So God put some of us in Pathfinder School. It's just one of the many courses I've had to go through in the last 6 months. It's heavy. I'm going to tell you something. You're not meant to pass it. He's going to fail you. He's going to crack you. He's going to crush your ass into dust. It reminds me of something's very profound. There's a scripture that says, Jesus says to Simon, and he's speaking to all the disciples, right? But first, let me tell you this. What is a disciple? Where does the word disciple come from? Discipline. If you're a disciple of Christ, you're going to go through discipline. He said, Simon, Simon, Satan wishes to sift you as flour. And I thought, whoa, now what is sifting? So I went and looked it up. One day I'm going to show a video of what it takes to sift flour, or sift wheat. It's tearing the wheat from the chaff. It is this process that goes on, and it's gone through a screen that shakes it out, and it's gone through again another screen that shakes you out, and it's pulled apart, the husk and everything. It's this horrible thing. It takes a long time to separate it, to sift it out. And finally, when it gets to the very end of all the screen levels it goes through, finer and finer and finer and finer screens, damn, I wish I could, I might pull it up to the videos, or I'll watch the time. But when it's all done, they take the sifted flour, wheat, and they'll put it in front of a fan, and the fan will just slowly, watch it in slow motion, just blow away all the chaff. Now we know that this is the last days. Yahweh said, let the wheat come up with the chaff, right? The wheat and tares come up together, and then we will separate. But there's two separations taking place, very important. There's a separation of us from them. We are the wheat, they are the tares, but there's also the wheat and the tare within you. So inside of each one of us, God has to take your spirit being and your flesh being, and he has to take it and pull it apart. Because only the spirit can return back home. This flesh monster thing, this avatar that we had to come, because guys, I'm going to show you in a little few minutes here. That's exactly what we are. We're avatars. These are our avatars. The angels decided they want to come down here and whip out their schlongs and nail the women of earth, and this was a no-no, and so they had to have avatars to do it through. So this whole thing, and we're going to walk through all of it, was just that. So we have to separate that, because that thing is not going back home. Neither is the desire to even do it. So he's going to strip us to there is not even the desire for any of this stuff anymore. It's heavy. Okay, getting back to this. Get so sidetracked because there's so much to share with you. So what I'm going to show you here is them coming here while we're here, but this is a bunch of stuff. So let's go right back to this. But anyway, I want to share with you that my whole war started out with them down there. And maybe one day I'll tell you what all happened. It'll blow you away, but let's go back to the video now. Here we go.
Stage 1 entry burn shut down.
So that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
Falcon 9 first stage headed back toward Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, where it launched 6 minutes 37 seconds ago.
Stage 2 performance nominal.
And he doeth great wonders, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast.
Listen very carefully. Listen to what he just said.
Of this book.
Okay, I'm going to move it here for a moment down the screen. Now, this is the vehicle assembly building. It's down here at NASA. There's a little lake in front of it. When we were taking our charters offshore, I think I was 53 miles from there. We didn't have GPS back then. We had what's called Loran-C, which is basically the old version of GPS. They just updated the equipment, digitized it. But we could see that building on super clear days, 50 miles away. Now, that is absolutely impossible as we know now. I had a boat captain back then that knew the earth was what it is. It's flat. So we could see that building. So when this whole thing broke out, I remembered back, wait a minute. We could see that building from that range away. That was my first lockdown solid on me that confirmed our true cosmology return.
And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven as he went up, behold, 2 men stood by them in white apparel, which also said, Ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven?
I'm going to pause it here for a quick second and tell you this. From seeing them things, they're impressive. From my little inlet where I am right here, we watch them come up. If I'm facing due north or almost due south of me, at 180, 165 degrees. But you can watch them come up. They're impressive. Then you get down close to the Cape where this thing comes up. This is an impressive show. So you can see how it captivates people. Return to this here now.
This same Jesus which is taken up from you into heaven shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven.
And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up, rise up, rise up.
Again, I'm going to pop back in here. And I stood along the sands of the beach, and I saw a beast rise up. I stood on this beach right here, right where I'm shooting this thing from. I stood on that beach. I can't count the times, 100 more. I've watched those things come up, and man, this is getting heavy now. In less than a minute, you're going to get really pissed off. So here we go.
Who is able to make war with him?
That's some cheesy graphics, isn't it? All right, guys, here we go.
The earth is spinning, and it gives us the seasons.
Okay, so I'm going to do another quick pause here. Most of you know who he is. That's Charles Larson. Now, those of us have been, the conspiracy, us truth seekers, we become, a lot of them have looked to this guy, not looked to him, but have said, hey, we've got a pastor in the pulpit coming out against CERN, coming out against the New World, you know what, coming out against a lot of things. So, hey, we've got a guy in the pulpit up there, man, at least we got some churches somewhere that are they're telling the truth, right? So for years, we thought Charles Larson, wait till you hear this.
Fear before him all the earth. The world also shall be stable, that it be not moved, that it be not moved.
The earth is spinning, and it gives us the seasons.
Who laid the foundations of the earth, that it should not be removed forever, that it should not be removed forever.
Getting deep into the actual movement of the earth.
The Lord reigneth, he is clothed with majesty. The Lord is clothed with strength, wherewith he hath girded himself. The world also is established, that it cannot be moved. The world also is established, that it cannot be moved.
Movement of the earth as it related to the stars and to the sun. There's an odd thing that takes place.
Oh yeah,
on
very
this
odd.
earth. You know that one spin of the earth is a 24 hours, okay? That's one day.
And then hath he set a tabernacle for the sun, which is as a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoiceth as a strong man to run a race. His going forth is from the end of the heaven, and his circuit unto the ends of it. And there is nothing hid from the heat thereof.
If it's spun on a perfect vertical axis, then nothing would change as far as the relationship of the stars to the earth, but it doesn't. It wobbles.
For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he hath set.
Well, I got to interject because this is when my blood starts to boil. The only thing wobbling is your ass. You fucking sellout. You 501c3 SOB sellout. I very few times in my life have I ever gotten to the boiling point. If I had been in that, thank God in heaven, I wasn't in that church today when he pulled his shit. Only thing wobbling is you sack of crap. And an axis, so the earth is rotating on a tilted axis. To have an axis, you have to have a flat surface to have an axis, dickhead. So where do you have your flat surface if you're flying through space? How in the living hell can you form an axis? You have to have a flat surface to start with to get a vertical axis or any axis. You lying sack of sellout horseshit. Ugh. Continuing, here we go.
World upon them.
And it takes it 25,000 and something years to make one wobble. It takes it one day to make one turn. The earth is spinning.
Only took 36 pieces of silver to sell your ass out,
This
too.
wobble is what we call the precession of the equinoxes. No man's lived long enough to observe this. No man's lived long enough to observe this. The stars change position in the heavens ever so slowly.
Say among the heathen that the Lord reigneth. The world also shall be established, that it shall not be moved. He shall judge the people righteously. The world also shall be established, that it shall not be moved.
And what we have here is that the earth is turning back against the stars, but it's spinning in the other direction for the day.
You
so
dumbass.
It's spinning in two different directions.
You dumbass.
It's not spinning in two different directions.
Dumbass.
It's spinning in one direction, but as it spins, it wobbles.
The world also shall be established, that it shall not
It
be
squirts
The
too.
North Star has changed over time, and it has changed down through time because of the wobbling of the earth.
It
that it
squirts
shall not be
too, Chris.
removed forever.
When you take a position where you absolutely and dogmatically state, well, if you don't believe this, you're not a believer. Yes, I am a believer.
If I have told you earthly things, and ye believe not, how shall ye believe if I tell you of heavenly things?
The earth is spinning.
The world also established, that it
Now
cannot
get
be
ready
moved.
for this. Here it comes.
And it offends me
Ooh.
to my soul
Ooh.
for somebody to tell me, because I don't believe in a flat earth, that I'm not a believer.
Ooh.
But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues.
Skirt, look.
You're welcome. You're welcome to come. I want to say that one more time.
Mm-hmm.
You are welcome to come to Temple Baptist Church if you believe in a flat earth. Just don't try to evangelize people.
But take heed to yourselves, for they shall deliver you up to councils, and in the synagogues ye shall be beaten, and ye shall be brought before rulers and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them.
But I'll tell you right now, folks, if you believe in a flat earth, these people out here are laughing their head off at you.
If the world hate you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you.
There you go.
They are laughing their head off at you.
And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them, and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth.
It shouldn't have to happen. Johnny-come-lately
Johnny-come-lately.
trumped up something
Oh, yeah.
that came out of the cracks, and all of a sudden it's the rage.
If ye were of the world would look.
Oh, yeah. Listen, Johnny-come-lately. Yeah, flat earth has been around since when? Oh, beginning of time. Holy shit. Have you ever seen a more pathetic example of selling out in your life? That sack of horse shit, the earth wobbles. Yeah, it wobbles and it squirts and it rotates and it inverts and whatever. It's the acid test, isn't it? It's the one thing that they can't do. Because you know why? Because it proves who they are. That little oath that to their brotherhood that they can't break. You know that one. Yeah. So let me tell all you guys, and I'm just going to come out here and I got to do this because you know my history with the churches and the 501c3 nonsense. I've kind of held this one back for a little while as well. I found out something here recently. Maybe I have shared this, but you know what? All these turd buckets are. They're on another payroll. You think that they're giving out welfare to families with children? Nobody's getting more welfare than these cats right now. They are lining their pockets. The GOV is lining their pockets. They're getting payouts on payouts on payouts. They have gotten so much stimulus in them, it's disgusting. And I'm going to say this: every single one of you, and this goes from this guy to even you, Todd White, with your big dreadlock hairdo thing, and you're Mr. Cool, Mr. So Spiritual. You're a 501c3. You're a sellout too. Every one of you pieces of crap. I took so much shit from so many people when I left church. Oh, you're not a believer. I even had my mother-in-law tell me to my face in my home, "You worship Satan, don't you?" This is her exact words, verbatim. "You worship Satan, don't you?" I know you do. You come in a man's home and you accuse him of this shit. Let me see, how many times you've been married? My mother-in-law, 4. Yeah, quite the yeah. I would kind of hold off on judgment from you. That just lit my ass up. This is why we are where we are. We think Christians come together so we can bring the family, the children of Israel back together. No. You got these assholes that are running all of them. And oh my God, I'm just furious with this shit. Anyway, we're going to back up. I'm going to hold off on this video for a few minutes because there's a couple of very major important things as the sign of times he's going to show you in a moment. But I got to show you this. Since we're talking about star forts, and you say, Todd, why are you worried about star forts? Because star forts, there's a scripture that says in the Bible, history repeats itself. And it'll be such in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the return of the Son of Man. So whatever was going on then will be going on now, and that's how we know where we are and what's getting ready to happen. Okay, star ports, because I said they're not ports, they're ports. Okay, and each one has its own individual star shape. Okay, if you go down here to NASA, they've got launch pads everywhere down there. Launch pads. Go and check them out sometime. Do your Google thing. Take a peek. I'll let you do your own discovery on it. These are portal pads that are set up. Launch pads. Think about this. Launch pads. Take a look at them from up above sometime. Anyway, let's just do this now. Okay, so I got some goodies to share with you here. Here we go. You ready? Alrighty now. These are what we call transmutation cocoons. You know, like when a little worm goes in its thing and it gets into one of these things right here. And aren't they beautiful? They're really beautiful. These are transmutation pods. Transmutation pods. And out comes this. So it comes in as a worm, comes out as this. That's why they revere the monarch butterfly, right? You can see these things, they're still there. I mean, even though this guy has left it, the pod's still there. You can find them all over. So, what is an 11-pointed star? An 11-pointed star is what again? A hendecagram. What is a hendecagram? A transmutation circle. You want to see a transmutation circle? Let's take a peek at one. Oh my goodness. Shut the door. Are you kidding me? Say it isn't so. Transmutation circles. Uh-oh, what did we discover here? Okay. Take a look at this. You've got a hexagon, hexagram, heptagram, octogram, decagram, endecagram, dodecagram. And you see all the sacred geometry here. Where do we see this? Where do we see this, boys and girls? Where do we see this, boys and girls? Yep, transmutation circles. Again, sacred geometry. And if I could show you the source of where this one came from, I forget where it is, but there you go. So, how about that for some fun? See, these things were launch pads. They were the transportation pods back and forth. Each one has a specific sacred geometry, does something sacred. So here are your layout for your star forts. Again, transmutation circles. Star forts or the pods for them to go back and forth, up above, back and forth. You get it? Okay, now we're going to jump over here to the book of Enoch. And I was reading this last night, and man, it is so loaded with goodies. But it talked about just real thing here. This doesn't have. This is something, a little side note. But it talked about the women who married into this, the angels that came down, and they were taught secret recipes, magic, how to, basically spirit cooking. So these women who were the wives of these angels, they were taught a lot of sacred knowledge. So when you got that skank Marina Abramovich out making up her spirit cooking things with semen, blood, and what else does she have in there? Poop, pee, who knows? She's sicko. So yeah. So where did she learn of that? Yep. So I'm gonna scroll down here because I want you to read something very important. It's about Shemzaza, and we know who he was, but bear with me for just a second here. And we're gonna go down just a moment. I'm getting close here. Here it talks about, we'll back it up here just for a quick one here, hang on. So here it talks about used to dwell in the high places. Now, in the Jewish cosmology, the Kabbalah, it literally talks about those transmutation pods as actually being physical. I'll pop back in here for a minute. Those transmutation star ports actually having dwellings, transportation dwellings here on earth. So it specifically is in there telling you what these things are. Again, one more moment. It's just down here, so bear with me because this is really important. Okay, previously mentioned, they taught them cosmetics and sorcery and incantation, loosing of spells and roots and blah, 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 blah. And there is okay. There's so much in here. All right, this is about Azazel. This is what okay. Very important. All right. Okay, this is the dreams of Enoch, and it is 83 through 90 in the Epistle of Enoch, and then 94 through 108. And it's called the animal apocalypse. Of course, we know apocalypse means a great unveiling, right? It's the history of the world. It's the history of the world in which angels are depicted as stars. Angels depicted as stars, and humans depicted as various types of animals. So it goes on to tell you this. A single star fell from heaven, and it became transformed into a bull, i.e. a human being, and fed among the pasture of oxen, and so on. So it's telling you here again in Enoch that when these angels come down, they come down as a star coming down. Now, a single star represents Asael, and I'll tell you why all these words end in El. We'll do that in another video, but which corresponds with the action of Raphael, and and many other angels after Asael. Not Azazel, Asael. Many other angels descend and transform themselves into bulls who have intercourse with cows. Remember, they're talking about humans, but they're using animals. And in correspondence with the 200 that initially came down, if you read about the Book of Watchers with Shemzaza, who had intercourse with human women. And then they had the big giants and so forth. Where am I going with that? The angels came down, and they transmuted themselves from those beings so that they could have human host bodies, so that they could have intercourse with women. That's what it was about. They came down here to do the naughty. It's basically Epstein Island down here. And so they're going back and forth, and they're just cut off from this thing. So again, those star ports that you see are launch pads. Now what's going on down at NASA is just the opposite. See, that's how they were coming from there to here, and they were going back, but that was cut off. That technology and all that stuff, they couldn't do it anymore. So what you see going on down here with these jackasses with their $64 million daily budget is to do just that with Elon Musk. And boy, what he's going to lay out in a few minutes is going to blow you away. But this is to get them, trying to get them back. That's what CERN is about. Those are modern day starports down there, rockets getting them to and from. Again, what you're seeing is transmutation pods so that we can travel, or they can travel, excuse me. So we're going to go back into the video now. We're going to watch a little bit of it, but I want to share that with you, but I'm going to interject this. And I'm going to try to put it in, we're going to have some fun with this, to try to explain to you kind of what happened here. So imagine that there's a story, and if someone knows where this is in Scripture, please let me know, because I'm trying to find it. I don't know if it's in the Old Testament or if it's in one of the apocryphal books. But there were 4 angels up there in heaven, basically was criticizing Adam, calling him a pussy for not being able to man up to his own crap down there and letting whatever happened happen. And these 4 angels basically said, we're going to go down there and straighten shit out. And Yahweh told them, you ain't going down there because you're going to get in trouble. And they said, no, we're going down there. And Dad said, basically, if you go down there and you do this shit, you're not coming back home. I'm going to seal your ass down there with the rest of them. So the story is these 4 angels go down there. And so kind of imagine it taking place like this. They get here, they land in the starport, they get their human host body, their avatars, their Westworld, because that's really where we are, as in Westworld. They get their Westworld avatar, and they head to Babylon. So I could have pictured them kind of heading into Babylon. Think of Babylon as Las Vegas. You've been to Vegas. They probably checked into, I'd probably say, the Hard Rock Hotel, Babylon. They get in there, they get up to their room, they're like, damn, this place is rocking. Man, killer room. Look at the gardens out here. Holy shit, check out the pool deck down there. They head down to the pool deck, they're hanging out down there, and here's all the Babylonian babes running around with their thongs on, and music's playing, and they're having drinks at the pool and so forth. And oh man, it didn't take them long because the account says they didn't last one freaking day, and they gave in. So I imagine later that evening they may be able, in the beginning, maybe about the first 3 hours to hold it off. But they probably went down later that evening, went to the Diamond Doll strip club there at the Hard Rock Cafe, and they went in there, and I can imagine one of the angels sitting down, and one of the little hotties comes up and says, "Oh, what is your name?" And of course, the angel's name was probably like Baba Zell or something, and of course, he doesn't want to tell her his name. He says, "I'm Rick from Shinar." "Oh, hi, Rick from Shinar. I'm Hoochie Coochie." "Oh, well, hi, Hoochie Coochie. It's nice to meet you." And so she's, talking to him and stuff, and he's got his guard up a little bit because he knows these are, I'm not going to give into this shit. And so he's talking to her. And she says, "Well, wow, Mr. Rick, you must work out because you have some really big arms. You're really handsome." And he's like, "Oh, really? Well, thank you. I've never heard that before. Oh, you're gorgeous. When you first walked in here, I had to come over and meet you. You're so amazing." Now, she's just loading his ass up. This angel's over there, taking it a hook, line, and sinker. And right about that time, he says to her, "Well, why are you in here?" And she says, "Well, I'm going to college. It's the only way I can pay for college." He's like, "Oh, that's awesome. What are you studying?" And she says, "I'm going to be a nurse to help little children that are sick." And the angel's like, "Oh my gosh, that's horrible that you have to be here." And she says, "Yeah, it's really bad. My boyfriend makes me come and he beats me if I don't show up to work." He's like, "Where's this boyfriend? I'll kick his ass right now." Blah, 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 blah. She says, "No, don't. I don't need any more problems," and so forth. And then the music starts to play, and she says, "Would you like me to dance for you?" And he's like, "No, no, no." She goes, "Well, then I have to leave because I got to dance. It's my job." So he leans over to one of the other angels and said, "Hey, slip me 40 dinars. I got to, get this dance thing here." And they're like, "Baba Zell, you better stop. You're getting your ass in trouble." He's like, "I got this. This is a good girl. This is not what you think. This is a really good girl." So he pays her his, the 40 dinars, whatever it is. And, here comes Two Live Crew, Pop the Coochie song. And she gets up there and she's doing her thing and she's rubbing on him and the hair's falling in his face and all the perfume, and she's taking her big old titties and putting it up in his grill, and he's a complete and total wreck by this point. And she's whispering in his ear, "I think I'm falling for you, Rick from Shinar." And about that time he says, "Oh babe, my name isn't Rick. My name's Baba Zell, and I'm an angel from heaven." And she says, "I knew it. I knew you were an angel. That's what I've been praying and asking for, an angel to come and save me." He's like, "You did? Oh my God. I knew there was a reason I came down here. I think I'm falling in love with you. I'm falling with you, Baba Zell." And so it's over. She's rubbing on him. He just unloads, explodes angel baby gravy all down his legs, and it's a big mess. And he's hooked. He's hooked. He's done. He's cooked. He's toast. Next day, he's cruising around Babylon looking for a place to set up shop, and he's going to live here. He ain't going back home, and I'm going to set up a business over here, and I can see building a house down the street over here. We can have our little white picket fence and little Baba Zells running around, and I'm here. I was meant to be here. And the other angels, they're in just as much deep shit. They probably got in some big orgy over there, and then it's a wreck, because that is what this place is. It's a big ass trap, and it got your ass caught in here. So now, ladies, I got one for you too. So if you think, I've heard one woman told me, she said, "I would never do such a thing." Oh, no. You would never do such a thing. Let me ask you, what turns you on? A little preppy boy with his polo shirt on with his collar flipped up, sitting down reading his Bible? Or does, let's say, Brad Pitt without a shirt on riding up on his motorcycle? Or what's that new guy from Australia that all the ladies like? Nerd boy or bad boy on the Harley, smoking the cigarette with his 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock shadow, with his 8-pack of abs and stuff. Yeah, so don't even fucking go there. You're bad boy, that's your thing, and you know it. So we're all guilty of this shit. Getting back to this whole thing, so this trance thing's going back and forth from Epstein Island. It's the Lolita Express basically taking place. That says cut off, done, over, psh, done with. There you go. That's what this place is. It's a paradise playground that when angels gone wild, they broke the rules and did the shit they weren't supposed to do, and we got our asses trapped here. They got their asses trapped here. Maybe we followed along. We got tricked into it, whatever it was. But they are furious that they can't go back home. So, kind of give you a little context to where we are, what this thing is about, and these things that we see are remnants of a time when they could travel back and forth. That's all it is. But what's important about that is it tells you where we are right now. And so we're going to go back into the video, and we're going to let the boys from NASA tell you something that's going to blow you away. So let's head back there now, and here we go. All right.
His own. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you.
And everybody's jumping on board to the flat earth thing.
And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake.
The one thing that absolutely convinces me is this Christian astronaut who spent over a year up there and all the photographs and all the videos that he made. Is this man a liar?
Yes.
He's not the only one.
No, you're a liar.
And no man hath ascended up to heaven, but he that came down from heaven, even the Son of Man which is in heaven.
With a sphere, a globe, whatever you want to believe, that's up to you.
The gospel must first be published
He's
among
done.
all nations.
Doesn't that piss you off? Doesn't that guy just light your ass up? Whoa.
Verily, verily, I say unto thee, we speak that we do know, and testify that we have seen, and ye receive not our witness.
Okay, I'm going to bounce through a couple things here so we can wrap this up. But what I want you to see is a couple things very important. Hang on here.
Apollyon,
Paula,
Apollyon,
Paula,
Apollyon,
and we could resume the dream of Apollo.
the angel of the bottomless pit,
Paula,
Whoa.
NASA is now embarking on a bold new program called Artemis. Artemis is the twin sister of Apollo
which is the angel of the bottomless pit,
and the goddess of the moon in Greek mythology.
Holy shit.
50 years ago, we went to the moon.
Of course you did.
We called it Apollo.
What many people don't know is that Apollo had a twin.
She
Yeah.
was a woman named Artemis, goddess of the moon.
It is the
Man.
stated policy of this administration.
Can I pause here for a moment? Does anybody in the world trust this cat right here? Have you ever seen, do you trust this thing right here? That dude scares me. I don't know what it is about him, but man, there's, ooh. All right, back to it.
The United States of America to return American astronauts to the moon within the next 5 years.
Our agency, NASA, is going to do everything in its power to meet that vision.
We're proud of what we do here, so come join NASA as we go forward to the moon
Oh,
and
can't
on
wait.
tomorrow.
I'll head down there tomorrow. Artemis. Mhm. Okay, we'll take a little jump here, guys. Bear with me here. There's one image I need to find here, so bear with me real quick, and then we're going to wrap this up. Hang on here.
having 7 heads.
the goal of SpaceX is to try to advance rocket technology, and in particular to try to crack a problem that
and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns.
The primary boost stage, which is the most extensive part of the rocket, the point at which that staging occurs can be as high as Mach 10. But it's going
These
away
two people
from
here have no idea what he's
outside
saying.
the same
He doesn't even know what he's saying. He's a moron.
So in order to get back to the launch site, you would have to have enough fuel and oxygen to reverse out that velocity and boost back all the way to the launch site. And you just don't have, the physics of it don't really allow you to have that much. It's not about saving money on fuel or anything, it's just physically impossible. Because another sort of thing about if you're in space is that there's nothing to react against. So, like, whereas an aircraft can circle very easily because it's reacting against air, in vacuum there's nothing to react against. So the only way to go.
All right, I'm going to end it there. There was one more image I wanted to find, and it was showing some of these rockets as they leave from down at NASA, and you can clearly see their pods or what they are. And going back to our star ports or star pods, star portals that we know that they are now. There's more in the video I want to show, but I'm just going to end it here for tonight. I wanted you to see the thing with Pastor Charles. That just pissed me off to no end. But let's let it do something. Let us remind us why we left that mainstream nonsense and why we know now that the God of this world runs everything. He runs all the churches. He's got everything sewn up. We're the little tiny remnant that's left over here, and God is revealing all this stuff to us to prepare us to go home. But what I want to leave with you tonight is this. The separation of the wheat and the tares, we're watching it happen in our lives with our family, and our friends. But it's also what's taking place inside you. And I just want you to be ready for it. And this is very painful, but it has to happen here in this last time period. There is one other image that I can't find it, but I want to share this with you real quickly. And and there's something else. I gotta put that over in BitChute. Sorry. Something very important. Now I can't remember what in the crap it was. Anyway, let's just end it there for tonight, and I'll put another one up because we got some more information to share. But like I said, let's just get ready. This revealing is taking place to us, and our preparation for what's going on, what's happening. So anyway, I love you, and